of urban legends, I started Another last night, which is, if you're not familiar, Another is about a kid who moves to like a small country town from Tokyo, and I believe like his family's from there, like his mom's from there or something. It wasn't super clear because it's supposed to be kind of like mysterious, like you know as little as he does about this town. And everybody there acts kind of weird. Like he's starting school. He transfers to a new school, but he has a collapsed lung, so he's in the hospital for a while. And like the class representatives visit him in the hospital, and they're like super serious and weird. And they're like, "Oh, can we call you by your first name?" And he's like, "Sure." And they're like, "Okay." And like one girl like shakes his hand and like looks at him, and then she has this like dark look on her face. I'm like, "What's happening?" And then there's like scenes of it's like a frame of creepy dolls just interspersed throughout the episode.
Oh, no.
There's a whole doll motif.
Oh, you know what people should check out? Your creepy doll motif from Happy Home Designer.
The video we made. Just speaking of creepy dolls for 1 second, Megan and I did a Let's Play a while back of creepy dollhouse and Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer.
Yeah, we had a pretty creepy house.
It's pretty creepy.
It was pretty creepy. Something about creepy dolls.
There's some Blair Witch Project stuff going on in that house.
There is.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
We got a whole, it's very Halloween-y. You know what? We should re-promote that Let's Play today. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, we actually should.
So check that out. It's on the site. You can look it up. It's I think the title's like The Creepiest Dollhouse in Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, which is a long title, but you can find it. Anyway, so he goes to school, and he has to like stay in the hospital for a while. He's in the hospital, he's taking the elevator, and he gets in the elevator, it looks empty, and then suddenly there's this really weird girl with an eye patch over her left eye. And she just appears, and he's kind of like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there." Like he's not. I was like, "Ghost!" But like he was like, it was like, "Oh, I just didn't see the quiet girl." I was like, "Okay, he's being much more reasonable than I would be." And she's holding this doll in her hand, and she's going down to basement level 2. And he's like, "You're going to basement level 2? Why are you going down there? What's there? What?" And she's like, "I have something to deliver to a friend." And she just kind of like drifts out of the elevator. And you see this sign that's like basement level 2, boiler room, morgue. And then she like disappears into the darkness. And he's just so intrigued by her because she's this weird girl going to the morgue in the middle of the night. So he sees her at school, and she's sitting, in the typical protagonist chair next to the window in the back of the classroom. And her desk is super, like, tattered and old-looking and different from everybody else's desks. And he sees her, but she kind of, like, drifts in and out of the picture. Like, sometimes she's not in class. And everybody is looking at him like, "Don't do it, dude. Don't ask. What are you doing? What's wrong with you?"
No.
And then they reveal, so here's the urban legend part. They reveal this urban legend of, so he's in junior high, third year junior high, so 9th grade, class 3. And they reveal a story about class 3 that 26 years ago, a very popular student died suddenly. But then someone was like, "No, she's still alive. She's right here in the classroom." And then everybody played along. And then they had a chair for her at their graduation, but then they took a graduation photo, and she was in the photo.
What?
So spooky! So what I like about the show is the pacing's really good. I was hooked at the first episode because it was kind of introducing all these mysteries, or basically the one main mystery, but then kind of smaller mysteries because people aren't telling this kid things. They don't want him to know.
And they probably don't want to talk about it. I wouldn't either. Like,
yeah.
What if we just forget that this ever happened?
Right. And and the other part is that his mom was in class 3 in the same junior high school, and she died giving birth to him. So whoa. So but then there's episode 3 comes along, and that episode, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but that episode I was like, "Oh, so that's what this show's about." And it was like, I was all about this. I was all about this show. So I'm really excited. I would recommend trying it out if you're interested.
Yeah, that seems really good. Like, I don't like horror things, but that's really intriguing.
It's another one that's not about jump scares. It's about suspense and mystery and kind of unraveling a really creepy mystery about a girl who may or may not exist.
Yeah. Which sounds pretty cool.
It's so cool. I liked it a lot. I stayed up late watching it because I couldn't stop watching it.
Oh my gosh.
The scariest time to watch scary things.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm stupid. So last night I was watching this, and I was like, what's a good idea? Trying to read that famous internet Korean comic do you know about the Korean comic? All you have to do is Google that one Korean screamer comic and you will find it. It's the first result. And it's this like creepy comic about a woman who killed herself when she lost custody of her child, and like she's like walking in the street all like her limbs are all broken because she jumped out a window or something. It's so creepy. It's a screamer, and I tried to do it last night and I freaked myself out.
Oh, see, no, I'm not looking that up because I'm a big scaredy cat.
Don't do it.
The only time I ever watched a scary movie alone once, I was Serpent in the Rainbow, and I was in my parents' basement watching that movie, and that was a mistake, and I will never do that again because scary movies are scary. But I do like mystery and suspense.
I do like mystery and suspense. If you're looking for something a little bit scarier, also in the urban legend kind of vein, I also watched Yamishibai, Japanese ghost stories. They're shorts.
Yeah. They're really creepy.
They're super creepy. Each one's about 4 or 5 minutes. Watched a couple last night, and one of the ones I watched was like about this college student who's kind of infatuated with this woman who lives across the street from him, and he could just see her on the balcony through his window. So he's just kind of like staring at her, and he's just become taken with her.
Creep.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And he's just watching her, and she goes inside, and then he sees this kind of like weird creature, like a demon-like creature, get into the window. And he's like, oh my God, is she okay? Oh my God. And then he sees her reappear in the window, and he's like, oh, okay, I guess she's okay. That was weird. And then he shuts the blinds because he's freaking out. And then you start hearing noises in the walls. And it was super creepy, and that's what reminded me of the horror. It was very much like the Korean horror comic. So if you're looking for something, it's also urban legendy, but it's not as suspenseful. It's literally just like, you want to see something screwed up? Here's 4 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like while it's not an anime, I was reading these stories on scary stories to tell in the dark, stories about the books. So, you know, if you guys ever had them when you were kids.
I read all of those.
Loved
those.
Scary. And like they're also based off of like urban legends. And so some of them I was just thinking about would be perfect as anime, and they'd be horrifying.
Yeah.
Because they are like more focused on gore than they are like death. Like they're not violent, but they are gory.
Yeah.
And so it's just like when you just saying that is like the equivalent of those scary stories, but maybe like even worse. Cause
I remember reading scary stories to tell in the dark when I was in like 5th grade, and I read one in particular that like scared me for like weeks. I could not go anywhere by myself.
The one I always just remember is Bloody Fingers.
Bloody Fingers!
Bloody
Screw
Fingers,
that
guys.
one. Yeah, it's so I think just since we're talking about urban legend stuff, anime or not anime, urban legend stuff freaks me out because there's a token of realism to it. It's like, oh yeah, there was a girl who was going to a basketball game and then she was followed home. And
Oh,
it's like,
that was the one I was thinking about. It's so
that's
creepy.
the one I was thinking about too.
Yeah.
I actually wrote I had a creative writing class, and I had to write like a spin-off of that story, so I've read it a bunch of times.
Yeah, so
it's so creepy.
To finish it up, a girl's driving home from a basketball game, and this guy behind her keeps like flashing his high beams. She keeps looking back. She's like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah.
But he keeps flashing it because there's someone else with her in the car, and every time he gets up to like attack her, the guy flashes his high beam so that way
he spooks the killer.
Yeah, spooks the killer, and the girl will look from behind her.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
And it's that one doesn't see. That's the cool thing about that one is it doesn't end in death. It's just like the thought of what could have been is what makes it so scary.
Right. It's just like a creepy, like realizing your mortality. Like these things could happen, kind of. I mean,
you could.
Not
I
unlikely,
I don't know about you guys. I always check the backseat of my car when I get in my car.
No, you're supposed to. As a woman, you're supposed to. Even if you've locked it, you're supposed to do that.
Like, any person check.
Well, any person. I said woman, but women always have to be a little more hypervigilant. So
we're encouraged to be anyway.
Yeah, we're encouraged to be. I don't know.
The society we live in.
Yes,
anyway.
it is. But anyways, but I remember that story, and I remember it actually creeped me out.
Tell us about your favorite urban legends.
Yeah, I do.
Especially
I
if they're
hear
anime.
If you have some cool urban legend stories, send them my way. I don't want to speak for Megan or Miranda because I don't want.
Don't send them my way.
Don't send them my way.
Don't.
Send them to me.
I already have nightmares from when I was a kid.
Yeah.